What I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight are basically three big things, right? Three major things that are going on. People are asking me all the time, what's the future going to be like? What's going to happen? What's this COVID-19 going to turn into? Well, I can tell you this. And from my perspective, having been in this business since I was a little kid, right? Like I was building websites when I was like a little 12-year-old with like Windows 95, tapping away. I've been in this business a long time. The original boom and then the bust and then the boom and the bust, and there's cycles. This is not like that in the sense that this is an artificially created suppression, and it plays in our favor in many ways. It's not a negative. It's not like, oh, this is going to crush IT and web development. Not at all. Because what we have going on now, at least where I am, and I see this in terms of at Rocket Driver, you have businesses now that are like freaking out because what they need to do is they need to switch over to catering, or they need to switch over to takeout. They still need to compete online. And you're going to have a lot of businesses, and I'm going to get into this deeply. You're going to have a lot of the big old classical agencies go bankrupt because they were so financially unviable before this began. They're so unprepared, and they're going to go away. A lot of the agencies, a lot of your competition just went kaput, and it's going to stay kaput because there's never going to be a time where paying $10,000 for the exact same thing that costs $2,000 is going to become fashionable again, unless, you get back to some extremely opulent times. A lot of these agencies, the little boutique agencies that are out there that have, a handful of whale clients, they're going to lose their whales. Whales are going to go shopping again. You're going to have a lot of e-commerce sites, a lot of e-commerce businesses that are going to do really well. They're going to be going again. So there's a lot of bright stuff in the future. And most of all, something called the rubber band effect, which is, I'll talk to you about that in a moment. And then we have the now, right? What can you be doing right now to build your agencies up, right? I've been in this position before, not because of a virus, but I've been in the position where, I was like working with people, we're founding an agency, we're going to start getting clients, and you all get together and you hunker down. You basically live bunker style and work 24/7 until the business is on its feet. That's where everybody's minds should be. This is almost a gift in that sense, because you're in a situation where you have a phone, you have internet, you have electricity, you've got all your amenities, and all you have is a single job now, right? Land clients. That's it. There's no other side distractions in life because you don't have a place that you can go. You can't go and party and hang out with your friends and do whatever you're doing because it's all on pause. So the now is a time of work and a time to get our businesses together. And if I can get you to believe in that, right, and really give it a try, I think you'll be surprised, because guess what? No matter how many times the news just repeats that the sky is falling, there's a sun in the sky, there's businesses out there, they're not all broke. Yes, a sizable component of the economy is shut down. A lot of what is shut down were not businesses we were going to sell anyway. Let's be real. Okay. Many of these businesses that are saying they're bankrupt after 2 days of not being in business, they were never financially viable. They were zombies. They were zombie companies. Many of them were anyway, or they were just waiting for something like this. So, the now is a time to work. And we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk to you guys about upselling, because it's something that is absolutely so essential, absolutely so critical, is that everybody, and I don't care if you've got 5 clients, 50 or 500, this is an opportunity to upsell your clients. It's an opportunity because you have their time. So crucial. You guys, for those of you who are on here who are new to this business, because there are some people on here I notice who maybe don't have 50 clients yet, you have to understand that you get a sense for this thing, right? You get a sense for selling anything. Well, at least that's the way I've always looked at it, right? You get the sense for selling cars, or the sense for selling home improvement, or, you get a sense. Well, the sense of technology, when it comes to this kind of stuff, anything that's really nerve-wracking in terms of a person looking at it from the client side, having to grasp all the technical stuff and whatnot, they look at it like, I don't have the time for that. Now we have their attention. We have their attention. We have their time. And we have a really good argument why now is a good time for them to hop into these services, right? Because they're going to rely more and more on the web from now going forward. We're not going to go back to a the businesses that are going under in general, you look at them, you look at what's going on out there, they're businesses that were really of the old school in general. They're not the businesses that are set up for, you know, taking online orders. They're not the businesses website personalization with e-commerce. No, they're the single channel, brick and mortar retail income only type businesses that are really shut down hard. I feel bad for them. It's not me dancing on their demise at all, but it's an opportunity for all of us. We're in the white label business, all of us here. We're all running marketing agencies, all of you, every single one of you. The way I look at it, every single one of you are either the president, the CEO, or the owner of a marketing agency, right? You're a digital agency. You guys all have the ability to sell a multitude, a fairly vast multitude of services, starting with websites, but of course, many other services as well for most of you. And if you can get out there and you can do that, in good times, you could do it in bad times. And you could do it in these times because these times we have something that we absolutely never had before. That's the attention of the prospect. Now, let's talk about the future and what's going to happen here. The virus absolutely will pass. Will it pass in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Will it take a year for a vaccine to completely get it to go away? Probably take a year to go away completely, but it's probably going to damp down and seriously stop being the major news dominating geopolitical mess nightmare that we're dealing with right now pretty quickly. It's probably not going to be, 6 months of this. It's probably going to be fairly quickly because it's spreading so quickly. It means it's infecting so quickly. And you guys know all that, right? The point is it's going to create a major pent up demand for all kinds of stuff. If you guys want a parallel, right, or an analogy, this is just my opinion, my rank opinion on this, right? But it comes from reading economists and looking at this thing critically. What I see here is you're going to have major pent-up demand for all kinds of products. Not everyone is going down to their last nickel and they're going to go out and lick lichen off of a rock and throw sticks at deer and whatever, cuckoo stuff is going to, people are saying is going to happen. It's not going to devolve into Mad Max. There's going to be a rubber band effect to this. There are definitely many parallels in history where blights and things have struck. They hit, they get absorbed, and then boom, the spring comes after the fall. And that's what we're going to see, a major rubber band effect that's going to ensue. And retail will bounce back. It's going to bounce back strong. And it's going to bounce back different ways in different places, right? Our industry is definitely poised to come out of this. And I'll tell you guys why. When 07, 08 happened, right? People were saying, web's getting crushed. Just kept on trucking. Just kept right through everything. Technology just keeps marching forward. We don't see any signs of anything slowing down. Now, certain things may not make as much sense. It wouldn't make much sense to go market retail right now, going saying, hey, let's get people to show up at your restaurant. Well, obviously, that's a moot point and a pointless pitch. But if you choose industries wisely, if you go out there and you choose wisely and you look for businesses that are either essential, meaning they're going to definitely have to be open, or businesses that were compromised but not destroyed by this, you're going to see some tremendous swings back from them in the very near future. Lots of restaurants are going to reopen. Where I am, I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but where I am, when I look around, I see restaurants. Every single one of them is takeout, and there's lines picking this stuff up. So it's not as though it's completely shut down. Different situation in different areas, of course. And, we're all spread across, the world, really. Everybody here, some of you here are even from foreign countries. But in the United States, it's spread out. It's different in different locations. Our poor industry is going to come out of this stronger than ever before. We know that, and we know what happened in 07, 08. That by 2010, actually by 2009, things were swinging back really strong. And then by 2010, things were just roaring again. I think this is going to happen much quicker because it's an artificial suppression of the economy as opposed to a natural decline caused by a catastrophic event. There's no sort of catastrophic event. We have the biological, thing going on, and then we have, of course, everything else. And it's important to remember not all businesses are broke. Anyhow, the point is here, the point that I wanted to make to you guys is just that businesses, they aren't all broke. You got to understand some things. You got to look at these big math because you're always confronted with pundits. You're always confronted with people who are, talking about businesses as though, oh, there's these horrible numbers. There's 32.5 million businesses in the United States. We have 327 million people and a 19.39 trillion GDP. And those GDP numbers are from several years ago. They're higher today than they were then, right? Out of this, in just the United States, there's 876.8 million websites, just websites. And when you think about that, right? If, 1% of those sites, right, or let's say it's 10%, right, of those sites are business sites. I mean, realistically, it's probably more like 20 something million of them are business sites. But the point is, if that number are business sites, if you have 20 million of them being maintained by somebody, that's 20 million spins at the lotto when it comes to making a sale. All you have to do to prospect really is just use search engines. You can look up any industry that you want. You can look up any business that you want. You can browse sites. If a site looks crappy, get in touch with them. If a site looks good, still get in touch with them because maybe you could sell one SEO, the other you could sell web development. The point is, they're out there. What you have out there, the ability to go out and reach out to many, many, many different businesses. And, you have to keep in mind, they're not all broke. We're not in an industry where, we have to go and we have to cater to the lowest common denominator. Now, switching gears here, I want to talk to you guys a lot tonight, really about what you should be doing to build your agency, because it seems like this is the main topic, right? This is the most important topic really of all, which is what you guys should be doing to build. Right now, what you've got is a situation where just about any form of marketing, and I mean almost any form, cold calling. I mean, I don't advise door knocking right now, or event marketing, but when you're reaching out to people via email, or you're responding to ads, or you're cold calling, or you're doing, utilizing the tools that you have, you're reaching out to a captive audience. And the best part is most of your competitors, most of the other guys, they're not reaching out to them right now. They're not making connections. They're not being pursued by marketers the way that we can pursue them. And the reason we could do that is because most people here, you're entrepreneurs, you're individuals, you're people that can capitalize upon this. The agencies that are brick and mortar, based in like New York or based in LA or based in Miami or based wherever, those agencies, they're shut down right now, right? They're not only shut down, but they're having to make rent on $10, $20, $30,000 a month rents for their studios, payroll that's in the hundreds of thousands, sometimes monthly. Those little agencies, those boutique shops, telling you guys they are going to be hurting. And that pain, remember, they're charging their clients. If they're charging a client $30,000 a month or 20 or 15 or whatever for a campaign, and their clients start to say, I don't know about this bill. This is a very high bill. They're going to go shopping. They shouldn't even have to shop. You guys should be reaching out to them. Get on the phone. Call them. Prospecting right now is gold. Right now, this moment, prospecting is gold because people are captive audience. They're at home. They get a call, they're going to answer it. They get an email, they might respond. Right now is a perfect time. Think about this. Compare and contrast the audience that you have of your prospects right this moment to that same audience 6 months ago. That same audience 6 months ago, business is booming. They're just humming along. They don't have 5 minutes to talk to you. Now, here we are 6 months later. Most of these businesses still have their money, unless they're complete idiots, right? Most of the sound businesses anyway. Sound businesses still have their money, yet the business is shut down. So you have an opportunity to be able to contact them, get in touch with them, reach out, and sell them. And not only just sell them, but sell them very viable services. And you could sell them these kinds of services, sell them, implement them, set them up, do everything. You could do it all right from home. And there's a huge number of businesses that I know for a fact are amenable to this. They're out there. There are businesses out there that are looking to capitalize upon what's going on, because a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs understand that now is really the best possible time for them to go out there and to do the things they need to do online and to expand in the ways they need to expand, to take this downtime and to channel it into their businesses and to channel it into building things like websites, because they know that this is going to pass and the world is not ending. Okay. There's lots of business owners that are looking to take advantage of it. You have to get out there and you have to market your business right now. And if so, you will be successful. There are literally millions of financially solvent entrepreneurs with viable businesses sitting and waiting to take your call, because basically no one else is calling. That's a fact. Basically, no one else is. In this industry, what we've seen cyclically, when we look at this year after year after year, if you step back and you just look at the big picture and you take a look at what's going on, this is an industry where you have a massive amount of window shoppers on the one hand. And on the other hand, you have a lot of people who aren't shopping at all, who are buyers, right? That's always been the truth. Lots of people don't know what they want until they see it. That's a famous kind of quote, actually, from Steve Jobs. He used to say, people don't know what they want until they see it. And there's a lot of truth to it. There's a lot of truth with our services. They don't know what they need until they're educated. They don't know what they want until they have an idea of what exactly they can have. So right now, you want to be that person calling, contacting, making a connection, getting in touch with the businesses so that you can be successful. Okay, so the now mission. It's very crucial that you guys understand there are so many people, and I'm going to say this a bunch of times. I'll say it again. They're sitting idle. They're at home. They have a business. The business right now is like paused. They're taking time out of their life. There's a virus. Why don't you call them? Talk to them about their business. Talk to them about the stuff that they feel they don't have the time to get done when they're operating. Because what we're talking about really in many cases, building a website, let's say it's $5,000. To a lot of business owners, that's nothing. $5,000, build a site, let's do it. They just they don't have the time, or they didn't have the time. You get in touch with the right business owner, they'll say, yeah, let's start the SEO campaign now. Oh, it's going to take a few months. Okay. You'll sell an SEO campaign on top of that. There are businesses that are all over the place that are looking to do this stuff. We're perfectly poised. You have to make calls. You have to send emails, responding to ads, going over, checking out, Craigslist, going and looking on Craigslist and checking out, gigs web. Doesn't matter what city you're looking at, but if you're looking at big cities, there's always projects that are posted up there. People saying, hey, I'm looking for someone to help me build a website. Looking for somebody to help me with my social media. Get in touch with all those, hit them all up. Right now you're going to see a major uptick in all the people posting that because, again, you have this idle time. Now is not the time in general to slack up and ignore the basics. This is a time to really focus and go after it, because it's not going to last that long. Everyone's going to be back at work. The phone, we're going to be back to where we usually are, which is frankly a pretty good place because we have great prices, great services, and we all do pretty well at sales. So that's a great place to be too. But I'm telling you guys, right now, there's a huge amount of sales out there and there's money sitting on the table. Now, what I've always liked to do, and this is something I just thought I'd throw in here tonight's presentation just for the heck of it, which is how should you plan your day? How exactly should your day be planned? I wanted to talk about this because I got a couple questions from people about it. Exactly how do, you structure yourself? Well, I always structure my days into sort of three parts, right? The three natural parts of your day. Your beginning, middle, and end. Waking, mid, evening. All right. How did I usually spend my day when I was running my agency, when I was just spending all my time making calls and working? I'd wake up, answer emails, check my schedule, drink my coffee, etc. Make my local calls, meaning my time zone or time zone, maybe one behind me. Mid part of my day, I'd make my westward calls. I'd track across the country. Of course, I'm based in the East. If you're based in the West, maybe it's opposite for you. Doing my prospecting, that was something I always put in the middle of my day. I like to put prospecting in the middle, not the beginning, although there are two different theories there, because prospecting in the middle, you can hit people midday and it can be less effective. For me, it's just better for my plans to work that way. Conduct demonstrations, of course, and that's, all throughout the day, making calls, answering emails. And then usually towards the evening, I would make my later calls. I would check Craigslist for deals. I would always look on there because I got a lot of deals there through the years, right? Through the years, I got quite a few. And then, of course, late demos. All right, guys. Now, moving forward here, the pitch. A lot of people want to ask, what are a few sort of basic points that I can use in this environment, in this time period, right, to sell somebody. And I've gone over many different closing techniques with you guys through the years. We've gone over tons of different strategies, scripts, etc. These are just some bullet points, right? Some of the things I would say, if I were talking to somebody right now, this moment, we were talking about their business during COVID-19, and we're talking to them about maybe a replacement website, maybe SEO, maybe we're talking about other services. I don't know. But there's a lot of things. Number one is making money online. A lot of businesses just can't make money offline. And they're learning that having that, tether, only one way to make money offline, well, it'd be a good time to add some online money-making venues for themselves. And they can do that via e-commerce. They can get an e-commerce site up. They can do that via a revamped website that allows them to take online orders. All kinds of different stuff like that. Custom coded solutions that exist out there that they can get implemented and we can implement that can get them to make money online. That's a very strong reason for getting a site right now, or for doing what you need to do. Being ready for the surge, being ready for when this ends to capitalize upon it. Because let me tell you, the businesses that either shut down, cut down, lay people off, or basically chop down their capacity are not going to be in a good position to capitalize when there's a surge, when this ends, right? When this begins to die down and we start to see consumer sentiment pick up, and we start to see people go out there and really start to shop and start to eat at restaurants, and everything begins to pick back up. But if you're not ready for it, you're going to be focused on rebuilding your damaged business as opposed to growing yourself and making money. So that's a major, major point as well. Making hay while the sun shines right now is an opportunity for insightful business owners to capitalize upon this situation and gain ground online while others can't or won't, which is an absolute fact. Lots of businesses, again, the weak ones, are not going to do so well, right? And if they're not doing well, then somebody else is. Someone's loss is somebody else's gain. So businesses, for example, that say, oh, I can't afford SEO or I can't afford to market, they just completely give up during this time, they're going to miss out in a big, big way because they're going to have to fight their way all the way back up. Businesses, on the other hand, that capitalize upon those, the others that are either exiting the market or slowing campaigns and stuff, they have an opportunity to gain in position and come out the other end looking great. Like, let's say, for example, just understand this. Let's say you guys were attorneys. Let's say everybody on here, you were an attorney. And right now you were based in Los Angeles, for example, or New York or wherever. And you know that in good times, you and all your competitors, you're all running SEO campaigns. You're all spending a fortune to market yourselves. You all want to be number one in your city, right? Because that's the name of the game for an attorney, like to be, the number one ranked site, on Google in Los Angeles for the word attorney, or New York or wherever. If you're one of those businesses right now today, and your competitors have all, or some of your competitors, even if it's 50%, have either cut back or are in various stages of, either they're not doing very much, right? Like, say they just decide they're not going to do very much. They're not going to drop a bunch on advertising because they're scared. Well, you're going to jump way ahead of them. When the surge comes, you're going to have gained tremendous ground, because while others are not working and you are, that's when you get ahead. The right time right now represents a historic opportunity for businesses to leverage this crisis to their benefit. building brands, growing consumer bases, and ultimately succeeding from this situation. And that's absolutely true. There will be many businesses that come out the other end of this thing, regionally, locally, businesses that you see right uptown from where you live. Get in your car and drive up there. That when this thing bounces back, the competitors that are out of the way are just going to fall by the wayside. They will not get back up. I wanted to just throw this in here because I decided to make just a quick little graphic here to talk to you guys about something that's kind of important, which is agency growth, right? A lot of people have asked me through the years about stages of growth of agencies and kind of how I characterize them. And I just threw this together, just a quick graphic, right? Starting from new to Titan. Okay. Some of you are at different stages here. And I know I can see the names here. I can see in our participants, we've got people on here at basically all levels. A couple of you, yep. George sent me a message. George the Titan. Newly established, I'm looking at as somebody who, hasn't got their first client yet. You've just gotten into this business. You're just new. You're just getting yourself started up. You can go out there and you can do very well when you get your first client. Then you're going to move up and you're going to things become more natural. Things become more normal. That's how this really all plays, right? When you're new to the business and you're looking at things, you haven't gone through the steps and the motions and you haven't seen what it's like to develop a site, watch it go live and go through the various steps of it and the paperwork and, whatnot. Once you get your first client, it becomes so easy. People go from like new to having an established agency in like no time. And the reason for that, and the reason you see that swing really quickly is because once you get one deal, it's going to give you the confidence to get your next deal, and it's going to give you the confidence to get your next deal. And once you have even just some clients, right, you're earning an income. Once you guys have, even 10 clients, right, if, half of them are SEO deals, you're making money every month. You have a full-time job. Most people would say you're making a full-time income off of your business at that point. And that's from not very many clients at all, due to the profitability of each and every deal and how it all works out. It's very easy to advance up the ladder. Now, when you're established, I always say it's about 35 plus, maybe 25 plus, you consider yourself established. These aren't hard rules. Maybe you are. That's fine. Depends on the size of the clients and what you're doing for them too. But the point is, once you're established, selling becomes routine, normal. There's no bumps in the road. A lot of people, when they're new, look at it and they say, well, this process, they tend to get, I shouldn't say they tend to, but some people do get overwhelmed. Some people look at the process and say, well, this process is complicated, or I don't know this. And a lot of it boils down to just fear of the unknown, because it's a pretty simple, straightforward process. You have a whole company behind you here in us looking to help you get this stuff done correctly. So when you go through this, once you have an established business, after that, you move up to what I would call venerable, right? Venerable are like the agencies. We've got them, they're out there, have 100 plus clients. Leads come inbound via referral all the time to those guys. There's huge cash flow because you're talking about tons and tons and tons of clients being billed, every month. And then, of course, the last I would say is a Titan. Titan's goals shift from the generation of wealth at their agencies, usually to the preservation of wealth in their life. And that's generally the cycle. And I've seen this cycle sort of flow like this for many, many people through the years. And I kind of wanted to just throw this in here sort of just to talk about it for a minute, because I've gotten questions surrounding it. What's agency growth look like? And one thing I want to say here is that this whole graph, right, of like new to Titan is almost like inverted when it comes to your boutique agencies. Boutique agencies have very few clients. They're whales usually, and they're being billed huge amounts of money. They're very unstable agencies. They lose one client, two clients, they can't make rent, they poof, go away, right? You see them quite a bit. Quite a few agencies are like that. It's very hard when you have a little boutique agency to have stability. Our industry That's what I'm talking about with this graphic. Not the boutique side of this whole coin, but the standard, stable, you know, regular clients and lots of them. Those are the people that I've seen get rich in this industry. The boutique agencies, I have not. And the boutique agencies, I strongly suspect, if I were at a card table in Vegas, I would probably take my watch off and throw it in. That's how much I suspect. You're going to see the implosion in those shops because they run razor thin margins. We don't run razor thin margins. We like big, fat, meaty margins. Now, let's talk about sort of what all this stuff means. Times are going to change, and change brings opportunity, and it's going to come in different forms, in different situations, in different locations. But the overall opportunity here is that we have a situation where the internet is the only game in town. We all run agencies. We're all selling the internet, essentially. We're selling web development. We're selling search engine optimization. We're selling clean your reputation up online. We're selling get popular on social media. We are selling the internet. And the internet is literally the duct tape keeping the world from coming unspun. So it's a very, very good time to be in our business. It's a very bad time to be in this business if you run a very high overhead, which fortunately none of you do. You guys are not sitting on top of, a monthly nut of, whatever, $100,000 and half of it's just your rent for your office space. That's not the setup here for most of you, right? I would say, I don't think we have one person on here like that. That's wonderful. So what you have to do is you have to punch through, dig deep, market yourself, get on the phones, make calls, get in touch with your clients, talk to people. There's an enormous, enormous, enormous world out there of solvent, sound clients that are idling. We need to take this time and really make hay. And I'm encouraging everybody here, every one of you, make hay while the sun shines. It's not going to last, right? Guys, I know what it's like to do cold calling, to make 20 calls to get through to one person. I'd bet anything, if I made 20 calls right now, I'd get through to 5 people, 10 people. And I mean business owners. I'm talking about, a good cold call list. I could sit there and put that together so easily right now because everybody's at home and everyone's answering their phones. It's not like businesses are scuttled and they're not answering their phones. Many of your local businesses, the bread and butter clients, they're there and they're ready and waiting. There's going to be some changes here in the future, though. Your bloated agencies are probably going to be gone. Conventional agencies, they're on the ropes, right? Your conventional shops that are out there that are running, again, high overhead, that have a lot of debt. A lot of businesses like that not doing so well. The clients, though, they're solvent and in need of service. And the great thing is as these people start to bleed clients, just like 07, 08, they just start bleeding clients. We want them to bleed clients because we want to pick up every single client that we can. We want to convert them, sell them, and upsell them and sell them for, now and into the future. The objective right now for each and every one of you could not be clearer. It's just to get new clients. That's it. That's it. Now, when we talk about landing new clients, always your objective. You have a very simple objective at your agencies. You guys aren't developers. You're not designers. You don't have to sit there and do all the back end stuff. That's all on us, right? All of that work is on us. Your job is to sell. Right now, the wind really is at your back to go and do this. It's so much so, I've even thought about going into retail. Now, something that's real crucial, and this is where I'm going to go and I'm going to go over a few things with you guys and then take some questions. You need to know your products and services and the industry within which you operate. And there is no excuse not to. Everything, and I'm going to change screens here. I'm going to show you guys. We're going to go through this. Everything is laid out really straightforward, right? When you go into the Rocket Driver portal, and I won't bring it up for you guys, but everything is laid out in the Rocket Driver portal. Everything is laid out over in the Sales and Success Center where you can get in there, you can train, you can educate, you should know the procedures. And if you're not clear about stuff, right, there's no problem at all getting in touch with us, right? Getting in touch with support. Get in touch with me personally. Send an email, jake@rocketdriver.com. Now, support questions, I'm going to refer you to support. But if you're truly like bodaciously confused, right? Things are just crazy to you. I don't mind if you get in touch with me either. You have to understand this stuff. You have to be able to speak and have an intelligent conversation with somebody else, at least at their level, right? I'm not currently a programmer, right? I have in the past coded and stuff like that, but I'm not currently like a programmer. I cannot sit and write code, but I can have an intelligible conversation with somebody about it, right? Like I can talk and have an intelligible conversation with somebody about a lot of things that I don't necessarily know how to do. I don't know how to make silk, but I know what it feels like, right? Same kind of thing, guys. Same kind of thing. You have to know the services enough to have a conversation to be able to sell them. And once you just get to that level, selling this stuff is just having conversations, just talking to people. This isn't high pressure sales. This isn't, really difficult sales. This is not, where you have like with timeshares. Remember the old days, timeshares, you'd have an opener guy and a closer, and, you'd have, it was like a multi-step process. It was a nightmare. One call close sales. Nope. We're nowhere near that difficult. We're selling something that's being bought, right? There are buyers, there are actual shoppers and buyers all over the place for the web, right? For IT services, for digital marketing services, for digital services. So something that I think is really, really, really important is on the educational note is to really separate and to psychologically sort of think clearly about the difference between learning things and applying things, because this is where I see a kind of a disconnect, right? Business, in my mind, can be very much so conceived of as a process. I think of it like an electric circuit. How I think of businesses is just like an electric circuit. Like we have a switch here, we have a light bulb here, and we have a wire that runs between them, and we just click that switch, the light bulb turns on, click it, it turns off. Every time a sale happens, in my mind, it's like that light bulb blinks, right? It's like the whole business completes a circuit, because that's where your business really makes its money. It's front end. A business, like I've always said, a business is shaped like a wolf. It eats at the front, right? That's where its mouth is. Sales is just the same way. Sales is your front end, right? It is your front. It's your fangs. That's your teeth. You're not dangerous if you're not selling. Now you should be, sales is something that you have to carry on a routine basis. It's something that becomes preternatural, right? Just becomes like a natural instinct. You're always selling. You're always pitching people. This doesn't mean that you're high pressure sales or using gimmicks or anything like that. It just means that you talk to anybody and you're willing to sell to anybody that wants to buy, and you're looking to steer the right solution onto everybody, right? Anyone that approaches you, you're going to steer the right solution onto them if they need something. If they don't need anything, you just tell them, hey, you don't need anything. Go away. You're not looking to just shove products mindlessly on people. That's not it at all. But you're constantly in the process of applying. Now, where people get hung up, I think, is when people go and they begin to learn and study, but they don't properly absorb information. They don't absorb stuff to the point where they can go and they can actually utilize it in terms of internalizing that information, right? Making it something that's internal to them. Now, what you have to really do is, in a weird way, I like to tell people when I start to educate on these things, and I've taught on this for many years, I say, look, you knew how to sell before you met me. You knew how to sell before you knew what a website even was, right? You could sell your mom and dad when you were a little kid, on giving you this and giving you that, and, getting you a new bicycle, or maybe it was some toy you wanted. That was sales. You were doing it naturally because you're a human being. Everybody can sell to some degree. What you need to learn is not how to sell. What you really need to learn is how these services work, so that you can go and intelligibly interact with people who are in different industries, and you can analyze what's going on in their unique situation, and then you can apply a solution. And it's pretty simple. The problems are fairly basic. I don't rank. SEO. My website's all screwed up. Oh, new website. People are picking on me online. Reputation management. The solutions are very straightforward. They're very obvious, right? They're not like hidden solutions. Now, of course, there's nuance to all of this. We're talking about a site. We can get really in the weeds when we start talking about all the different sort of nuanced angles and all the different things that are involved with it. But it's still something that's very valuable, very important. So, understand you don't have to be some kind of a superhuman, you know, you don't have to possess some crazy talents or any of that kind of stuff to be effective. I want everybody should feel very confident about this. And if you don't feel confident, I'll tell you what will give you confidence. It gave me confidence. When I was young, right? When I was just starting to like make cold calls and learn what everything was about, right? I'm still a teenager. I called up a web development agency. Actually, I went to a web development agency one time and I applied for a job. I was selling sites on my own. I was selling graphics. I was doing a bunch of stuff. I went to a web development house, go there, go inside and meet that lead salesperson. And this guy, when I want to say he had no charisma, I mean, like, I would have rather hung around a mean old lady while she scratched up a chalkboard with like razor nails. This guy had zero charisma, horrible voice, horrible everything. But he was making sales because he answered the phone and it was a web development company and people called it to get sites. And you're in the same situation. If you're just a friendly person who's talkative and just wants to, ham it up on the phone with people, you're going to make sales. It's just a matter of contacting enough people, having conversations, and looking for your prospects because the solutions, they're going to be applied. People are going to keep buying sites because the internet is an integral part of their business now. It is critical at this point for most businesses. Okay, very, very few businesses today, very little of our society today functions without a computer. All right, now, last thing I wanted to talk about, I'm going to take questions after this, is upselling, right? Because this is something that, a lot of people have asked me a lot of things about it. And they've asked me like, Jake, how does upsells work? And of course I could get into using tools. I could show you guys some really cool stuff and I probably should have, but I just want to stick to this slide for right now, which is basically the process that I see go on. Number one, somebody closes a deal with somebody else, right? You go and you sell them, say it's a website. It doesn't matter what the service is, but let's just say website. You sell that. That's step one in upsells. Step two, projects completed, service implemented, right? After that, you've sold them something, the service is implemented. Now, you showcase the ROI. Step three, show them, hey, what I sold you, it works. Here it is. It's working. You're getting a benefit from it. After that, it's move right on to let's set up an appointment. And you notice there's no time frames on here, but if I have to have a time frame, for step four, we could be talking about as little as 3 weeks, a month, maybe a little over a month. You don't have to wait, like 6 months to go back to upsell somebody. In fact, you sell someone a website, right after that site's done and implemented, it's like, hey, it's time to go market this thing. Let's talk SEO now. Let's set up an appointment. Website's up, implemented, working. Move to step four. Let's set up an appointment. Go to step five. Clients sold more services based upon the past success. You leverage the success you had in the development process and with the purchase they had. They're happy. Once they're happy, upsell them. Move right on to it. You don't have to wait 6 months. There's no cooling off period and all this nonsense. I've heard all those theories. People say they're not valid. They've never been proven valid. I've never, ever, ever seen proof that businesses need to like cool off after buying something. No, it's like you buy a house, your next purchase, if it's got a hole in the roof, is a roof. You fix your roof. Your next thing you do is you patch up, your front yard if it's messed up, or your garage, or fix the windows. Whatever's broken, you move sequentially, thing by thing to thing to thing, fixing it. Same thing with the website. Website's working now. Okay, that's great. Now let's get it ranking. Oh, it's ranking now. Now let's protect it from, identity thieves and, people coming on and going and trying to steal your business listing. Okay, your business listing. Well, now let's move on to social media, Let's move on to protecting your reputation. Point is, you move service to service. All right, guys. Now, I'm going to just take some questions at this time, and I will go long. If you guys have questions and you want to go long, I'd be happy to take any of your questions. Also, after this, if you ever want to shoot me a question, you can always email jake@rocketdriver.com. I'd be happy to take questions there. Let's see here. Stuart, I work with several cancer clinics right now, and because no one is traveling, they're looking for the best marketing strategies for right now. Yeah, absolutely. Stuart, I'm really, guys, I'm telling you, these type of events, right, when they happen, like, I mean, it's a situation where you have to realize that while the other people are not moving, right, they're standing still, scratching their heads, going, hoarding toilet rolls and glued to the television set, going, oh my God, oh wow, they're sitting there doing that, freaking out. You can get up and you can go out there and you can, get on your phone, jump online, and you have a captive audience of millions of business owners that are sitting there. And if you say to them, hey, I can do your website for half what that other company's doing it for, you think they're going to say, you know what? Now's the time to blow money on nonsense extravagance from a much more expensive company for no reason. No, you're going to drop them like a bad habit and go with you. You call up a plastic surgeon. They're paying 20, 30,000 a month for SEO. And you tell them, hey, I can cut it down to just 15, right? You can cut it in half and do the exact same thing, or even maybe do something better and cut it to 10. That's the way I would approach it. And I would approach it just ruthless, absolutely ruthless. Slam, 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 and do not let up. I would be on the phone 24/7 because these are the times where you can roll tons and tons and tons and tons of clients. Because nobody's looking to shell out that kind of money, but there are tons and tons and tons of boutique agencies that are charging that kind of money to the kinds of clients that are going to, on the one hand, absolutely survive the COVID-19, and they have money. But at the same time, they're the kind of clients that right now, their clients, right, the people who are going to get elective surgery done, for example, they're not going in to get the surgery. So they're just sitting there with, idle time. So you can get them on the phone to have the conversation, to knock their agency out, get yourself in, right? There's a huge opportunity for that. It's everywhere, guys. I'm telling you, you have to just stick with it. You have to get on the phones, though. You got to make calls. You have to market yourself. The biggest problem I think entrepreneurs face, and I've faced this so many times myself, is structuring my life, right? Getting my structure correct so that I could apply myself, right? Like a lot of people look at me years ago, right? When I was like a 90, 100-hour a week worker, literally, right? Like that was like my normal week, right? It was like get up, take a shower, and go every single day. And then, back home, leave before the sun was up, come home when the sun's down. And, I didn't just start that way. I slowly built a structure around myself that gave me the ability to work like that and to apply myself like that. That's a missing thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is you have to architect your life to be an entrepreneur. You've got to set the pins up right, then you can knock them down, right? And that's about getting enough sleep, eating correctly, having hours of the day you tell yourself, okay, this hour is for cold calling, this hour is for getting on the phone and doing demos, and having yourself a calendar, having yourself all the necessary tools to structure yourself so that you can apply yourself. Because most of the fundamental steps are really simple, right? When you think about it, each individual step of building an agency is a very simple step, right? There's no, heroic stuff in there, right? It's making some sales, making some phone calls. Individually, these are simple steps, right? Like inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard. And a lot of people try to go at it and jump from, working the 40-hour a week, normal week, to jumping in and doing the 120-hour crazy marathon. And they're not Iron Man. It's So they mentally, psychologically burn themselves out. And that's bad. I tell everybody, you need to ramp up slowly, right? Don't stomp the gas, push the gas, right? Go in there and get your agency set up, do it step by step, have a plan, execute against it, have a plan also so you can see when you're not living up to your own expectations, right? If you're telling yourself, well, I'm going to work sometime this week. Well, naturally, you're not going to work every day and you're not going to work very hard. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to work even 3 solid hours a day, but I'm going to actually show up and do this 3 solid hours of work a day at my agency. I'll tell you what, first sale you get off of that kind of a strategy where you put in a reasonable, small, dedicated amount of time, then you're going to work 5 hours a day. And when you get another sale, you're going to be 8. And pretty soon you're going to slowly have ramped yourself up because you'll naturally gravitate towards success. And I think what a lot of people need to do is just look at what they're doing and think of it in terms of what if this works, not what if I give up, right? Is it will work for you if you're willing to put in the effort. Anyhow, guys, I don't see any more questions there. It was great speaking with all of you. I wish best of luck to absolutely all of you. And, I hope everybody's safe out there. The social distancing matters. It's up to all of us to take care of ourselves. We're in this by ourselves, but also together. And, wish you guys all the best, and I'll see you next week. Get out there and sell, guys. If you don't sell and you don't build your agency, you have no one to blame but yourself.